Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John, there are these things like the philosophical thought puzzle questions about if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound?
Sound of one hand clapping, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So if all of your shots are gimmick shots,
Thank you for, yeah.
Are they any longer gimmick shots?
Or is it just, oh my
God.
God.
Or is it just an egregious excess of someone trying to go, look at me. I can do a Rodriguez. Look at me. I can do a Tarantino. I can even go one better.
Oh, boy. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you ripped that off because, of course, a lot of my notes are about the shots in this movie.
But it would be anyone. Anyone with eyes would have that note.
You can't not be. We're talking about 1999's From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. Ugh, that's an unwieldy title.
Yeah. But it suits.
It's not inaccurate, if that's what you mean.
That's what I mean. It's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
It's just unnecessarily clunky.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is terrible. I mean, this is really
this is really bad.
I really hated this movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm going, well, whatever. But...
And what's sad is there are people behind it and people in it that we like.
There are.
Even some of these actors who I don't know.
Yeah.
Or, they're vaguely familiar faces.
I will say.
Do an okay job.
Pretty much everybody in the cast is pretty solid for the most part. And most of them are character actors you've seen in a bunch of stuff.
Dwayne Whitaker, I've never put a name to that guy, but then I look at and I'm like, yes, I know you from all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
He's fine. Raymond Cruz is a guy that,
Raymond Cruz is one of those guys
I would not have known his name,
but he's in everything.
He's in everything, especially if it's shot in Texas.
Yeah.
And he's great.
Yeah.
So,
it's Tuco. He's Tuco Salamanca from Breaking Bad.
Jesus Christ. That is, if you had to peg one thing, that is a thing right there.
Yeah.
But in other words, they are not the problem. The problem is concept, writing, directing, editing.
Yeah.
These are the problems. If you fix those...
You can take this, I would say, just take this cast and then start again.
Amen,
because,
brother.
Boy, we also have Robert Patrick in the lead here, and he has nothing to do in this movie.
He has nothing to do in this movie, but here's one thing I did detect. This is, of course, now almost 30 years old, or, it's 25 or whatever years old.
Yeah.
He looks so fresh-faced here.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to him, later days.
Sure.
Or in T2. And
this is the weird middle ground where, like, T2, he's real young and skinny.
Yeah.
And then here he's
but he he had to play the an android, robot,
right.
So he had that, and he does it so very effectively. Here you can tell that he's happy to be able to open up and play a character, and he does a good job. He's just given shit to do.
Oh, it really made me mad.
He's engaged.
Because
I'm like, don't put that much work into this
having
nonsense.
seen him, we've talked about him. And by the way, this is one I almost started this by going, is this an episode of the Action Shelf? Because this really feels like an Action Shelf movie. In fact, we almost had Listman on for this, but it didn't work out. But this would have been a good one to have him on for.
It's true.
Because
this feels
really
like a real knockoff Tarantino or Robert Rodriguez movie, and then you realize, holy shit, they sanctioned this.
Yeah, it's sort of the thing when they go from Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, you're like, well, I see deep in the executive producer credits are them.
They just gave their okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they were happy to take a paycheck, and their buddy made this, because we got to talk about the man responsible for this movie, because
we do.
Scott Spiegel, writer-director here, co-writer, director, and he is one of those guys who is friends with a lot of really talented people.
He is tight with the Raimis. He is tight with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino.
He's the guy who Tarantino talks about. This is the guy whose couch he crashed on when he was a struggling filmmaker. He's a guy who I'm not going to say he has he's not a talented guy, all right? But a lot of his success and a lot of why he had the money to have said couch for Tarantino to crash on is that his best pal was Sam Raimi, one of the most talented people I can think of.
Sure.
Who's just a
in
fucking
this
genius.
case,
An absolute brilliant filmmaker.
And I do love loyalty in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I love friends looking out for friends. I love how people will come up together, and it's like, doesn't matter how big I get, I'm always going to include you because we were buddies and you're talented.
Yeah.
So here's a guy who's been given chances, and I'm not going to crap on that.
No.
It's like, and again, he is not devoid. However, I think also talent shakes out, because when you look at Scott Spiegel's IMDb, you see that it's like, yeah, it just dries up because
as a director, for sure.
He's not great. As a director specifically.
And I will say, look at his acting stuff. It's all Sam Raimi directed stuff.
It's
cameos
just
in
him
Sam Raimi.
showing up in his buddies.
He's one of the voices of the souls of the damned in Multiverse of Madness. Like, he's his buddy, and that's great. But it is sort of like, and we'll talk about the brief Bruce Campbell thing here, but that's a sure, pal. I'll be.
That is a sure, pal.
I'll be there for 2
seconds. That is a
seconds.
one afternoon shoot.
But how about the fact
two.
that even his last directing credit, 2011's Hostel Part 3, that's a Tarantino produced franchise.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of just like, I mean, it was always like, was he waiting to? Was it sort of a thing where it's like, Sam, you direct this one, I'll direct the next one, and then the next one kind of no.
Right. Yeah.
Because I have seen at least one other film he directed. Did he direct it? Maybe he just wrote it.
Which one is that?
Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, which is a great fucking title.
Oh, it is a great title. But I haven't seen it, and I can't seen that title.
By
the way, that's a great title, and this will sound like a complete and total sidetrack. I was thinking of weirdly awesome, terrible titles.
Yeah.
I still think Lifetime movie, Mother May I Sleep with Danger is one of my favorite awful titles I've ever seen.
Agreed. No, it is. Thou Shalt Not Kill.
It's literally like one guy said, "Oh, I've got the perfect title, Mother May I," and the other guy's like, "Nope, it's Sleep with Danger." And they're like, "Hey, wait a minute!" And it becomes you got your chocolate and my peanut butter. You got your peanut butter and my chocolate. There you go.
So yes, his biggest credit is as co-writer on Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had good ideas. I'm sure he did. And also he has a writing credit on the Clint Eastwood Charlie Sheen vehicle, The Rookie. Remember that one?
Oh. Yeah, of course.
Which is like pretty mediocre Eastwood. It's fine. It's totally watchable. But also I think the fact that the other writer there is, do you pronounce his name Boaz Yakin or Yakin? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
But anyway, the fact that a much more successful writer also has credit makes me think he wrote most of it, probably.
Sure, let's go with that. So this guy has a flibbity-flobbity, not so great career.
Yeah.
They gave him the keys to this car.
Yeah,
and they said drive it wherever
we're
you
going
want.
to talk about this exact same thing when we get to the Vampires sequel as well. The exact same thing with Tommy Lee Wallace, good high school buddy of Carpenter's.
Yeah. He's that guy who's like, hey, I can take over Halloween for you. He's like, great.
Oh, here's another thing too in trivia about Scott Spiegel. Tarantino slept on his couch, but also Quentin Tarantino Spiegel introduced Tarantino to Lawrence Bender, who would become his producer on all of his movies. And Tarantino has said many times that Spiegel is the reason he has a filmmaking career. Hence, sort of, they're always helping this guy. It's.
I mean, again, that's the loyalty thing, and
that's great, man. And I'm sure if he's friends with those guys, he's probably a blast to hang out with and a huge nerd. If you're hanging out with Raimi and Campbell and Tarantino and all those guys, you're talking about old comedies and comic books and stuff, So I'm sure that's great. However, the biggest thing in this movie is, dude, this screams of a guy who, I don't know that he lacks talent, but he definitely lacks confidence because he is doing way too much here.
I know.
Which is so,
and that's why
interesting to compare it to Rodriguez, who also does a lot, but it's more calculated.
No, that's the whole thing. Is that I love a gimmick shot. I mean, I do. But the thing is that you pick it.
Yeah.
You can't just. It's just like jump scares. You get one per movie, and you pick your moment.
Yeah.
And with this, it seems like he just storyboarded the fuck out of it and was like, "Where can I put a camera? Well, can it be inside of someone's asshole while they're taking a crap? Because that is something he probably thought about."
That's about the only thing he didn't choose to use, because I think he did everything else. And the thing that drove me insane too is he'll use the same gimp. He has like 4 separate shots looking out through a skull.
Yep.
And he
has
just keeps
about
going to
4 different shots from inside the vampire's mouth.
He thought that
as it bites.
He thought that was very cool. But it's just
like,
so interesting.
That is something I haven't seen before. Maybe do it once.
It also strikes me as I don't have budget, because holy shit, does this thing look cheap. I mean, especially when it's called From Dusk Till Dawn, which was not like a massive budgeted film, but you can just see a huge step down in scope.
Well, I will say if this were better done, it wouldn't have been that noticeable, because From Dusk Till Dawn is a pumped-up grindhouse movie.
It is.
It has a bigger budget. So this looked like an acceptable... In other words, I wasn't taken out, and actually I thought the makeup was pretty decent in this, but I was like, I wasn't taken out of this thing by its budget. It was all the rest of it. Oh, wow.
See, that's the thing it did for me, in the fact that, like, everything is at night, but not in a stylistic way. Everything is just black at the edge of screen. And the fact and they're shooting South Africa for Texas.
Yeah, but since it is a heist movie, that's a clever way to get around budget, because it's all going to be criminals in a car, criminals in a hotel, criminals in a bank.
And
agree. You're thinking like, okay.
I agree.
But then
it could be that if the heist made any fucking sense, or what the vampires want to do. My God. Yeah,
and also one of the, we'll get to it, but here's the whole thing is like, all right, so the leader of the group of heisters,
bank
of criminals, robbers, he gets turned. Then he sort of gradually turns one after the other till there's only one left. It's like, dude, if you wanted to continue doing your heist, but you're a vampire now, turn all your dudes vampires right off the bat. Don't be like, well, I'm gonna hang on to not turning buck yet. Like, fuck you, man.
I don't. And also, I like what? Why do vampires? Why continue with the heist?
No, they do say that. I mean, at one point...
Oh, somebody asked that. But it doesn't get a proper explanation.
Actually, I thought the explanation is fine. It's like, well, vampires need money too. They want.
I actually kind of wish it was just a vampire heist from the jump. Like they were just vampires pulling a heist. Because vampires pulling a heist is not a bad idea for a movie. It actually sounds kind of cool.
Or again, if he turns and then turns all of his guys and they continue the heist.
That's what I mean.
But the whole thing of like, has that one been turned yet?
Yeah.
Like what was your point in waiting?
That's it. That's what I kept thinking all the times of the vampires who pretend to be humans. I did keep going, why?
Yep.
And also,
exactly. Why?
This movie is, and this is so common in a lot of the stuff we watch, so many times you're going, just use your vampire powers and you'll get out of the situation.
Yep.
No. They just refuse to sometimes.
And then there's a whole thing of like, why is it still a heist? The only problem with it being a vampire heist movie is literally they could have just ripped the door off the place, killed that guard immediately.
They're still drilling the locks.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, exactly. He has super strength because they literally show them throwing a car. The two of the guys together push a car into another, which they both explode because that's how cars work. Mm-hmm. But I sit there going like, then you've got vampire strength. Just rip open that fucking, safe. Why is there a safe cracker vampire? This is just stupid.
What I love the idea of, he turns him into the vampire before he finishes cracking the safe, and then the guy proceeds to finish cracking the safe as a vampire. Yep. What?
Yep.
Oh, for the love of God. All right, let's talk about the plot as it is of the movie,
Sure.
I guess.
I'm ready.
Yeah, the movie starts off, I mean, good way to get me interested, but also bad way to make me lose my interest by having Bruce Campbell in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, we open, and this makes little tie-in with the rest of the movie. So you're like going, I don't understand why this happened. But anyway, so 2 criminal attorneys who are talking about
Yeah.
the case of our main bad guys, Luther, or whatever his name is, who's a killer, and they're like, man, getting that guy out of that's, he's a horrible person. I hope there's no such thing as karma. And the 2 attorneys are Bruce Campbell and Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Yep.
I never thought I would say those 2 names together in a sentence, but now
you know what? I'd never seen this movie before, and prior to last night, I did not know they ever shared the screen. So yeah,
and they have, and I would have watched.
I would have watched the whole movie with these 2 because they are interesting. And once again, not the actors is bad, but it's like, oh look, like not A-list stars, but stars at least for people like me. These are I like these actors. Yeah,
of course. And they get in the elevator. They're leaving their office at night, and the elevator's acting weird, and it locks up. Bruce Campbell opens the top, and a corpse falls in of a maintenance guy, and he's like, Jesus Christ! Oh man, what happened to this?
Guess
dude?
Somebody died up there. I better take a look and poke around.
Take a look. And he sees
smart Bruce
CG bats, a whole swarm of CG bats.
Oh God, yeah, whole.
And here's another thing. If you don't have enough story or dialogue or character to fill a movie, don't make a movie. because even though the effects are not bad for, again, their budget, and Lord knows, me watching the CG bat swarms, I'm sitting there going like, man, if they had this for Brides of Dracula, remember that? Where they all die at the end with a swarm of bats. You're like, ooh, animation bats. This is not good. But here's the thing. It's like, okay, so the bats swarm into the elevator car, tear up Bruce Campbell, and tear up Tiffany Amber Thiessen for about 18 minutes.
It's insane how long I was sitting there, and I always have my notebook with me, and I would look down, look back up, and going, I'm sorry, this is still happening?
If they're going to establish something, like she figures something out with like, oh, if I use my lighter or something, but no. Bruce dies pretty quick. Good for him. Yeah. But Tiffany Amber Thiessen has to.
I got 4 hours, Scott. If you want me to just get out of here, and
yeah. But Tiffany's fighting off CG bats. Then there's shots that I'm sure that Scott Spiegel was like, yes, like a bat gets into her skirt and then works its way up through her shirt and pokes out. And then there are close-ups of puppet bats that are chewing on her. Yeah. Then there are close-ups of puppet bats chewing on the cable. And here's the thing. Here's a question I have. If these are vampires, bats, and their whole thing is like, we'll get these goddamn lawyers, you're like, then they kill them. They're already dead in the thing. What's the point of dropping the elevator car?
Well, can I ask you this? Did this happen? Or is this a movie that Robert Patrick was watching?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell. It pulls out and he's like on TV.
Oh, they do that. Yes, I forgot about that. But they are talking about Luther, the bad dude.
Are they? I can't. I mean, I hadn't clocked it, but it's revealed that he's just watching a movie.
It's like, well, he's killed 14 people. Does that make us bad for representing him? Okay, so maybe it was a movie. Oh, God,
because these bats aren't the same bats later, and what is the point of them coming? I don't know, man. But also, if it's just a movie, then what the fuck is the point? This is like a 6-minute opening sequence.
Yes.
As you talk about not having enough time for, this thing clocks in at 88 minutes with credits. I mean, my God, they don't have 88 minutes of plot?
Apparently not. Because there are...
Jeez.
This thing slogs. This thing, I'm like, the only plot is, hey, our buddy broke out of jail. People are after him, but we still want to carry on this heist.
Yeah.
Let's meet him in Mexico. We're hanging out in a hotel, a motel. You going to join us? I'll be there soon. Okay, we'll wait for you. Let's watch some porn. I'm doing the whole movie here.
Well, because we get from here we get the Robert Patrick recruiting all the guys.
Right. So basically, I forgot about that. The whole thing
because
with Bruce Campbell,
he changes the channel, and then it's the news report about Luther.
He's banging on his TV like, "Oh, I got bad reception," while he's getting a blowjob from a woman that doesn't continue in the movie.
I'll say this: the first movie is no feminist work, but Jesus, is it the most progressive movie compared to this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are women who do some things in it.
There's not a sympathetic or strong female character.
There is no Juliette Lewis in this
they are referred to as bitches and this is like last week too. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Stop calling women bitches. I mean, once again, this is actually kind of making last week's movie seem, I don't know if it's, I mean, there's that woman.
I'd say they're pretty hand in hand.
They're pretty hand in hand, but at least there's like the edge to Carpenter's. At least there were women on screen more often. My God.
Yeah, and here, like, there's a woman victim. Later on, there is a woman cop who has no dialogue but gets turned into a vampire
and gets the most graphic of vampire deaths. The woman cop, of course. That's the one where we're inside the mouth and we're
yeah.
That's what you get for being a lady.
There's the lady motel owner.
No, she gets it bad too.
And there is I'm not going to say prostitute because that's vague, but just a hottie who's at the motel.
Yeah, I literally in my notes, she's motel hottie because that's
motel hottie, and she gets turned and doesn't have a lot of dialogue. It's like, oh, Playboy Playmate. Okay, all right.
When they introduced her, I thought, oh, she's going to be the vampire.
Yeah, that's what you're expecting.
Because I was expecting it to go like the first movie, kind of. You did look
like some sort of matriarchal. Yeah.
You did look up that woman is a Playboy Playmate because that is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's I was like, I was gonna
say, fair guess. Lupe is what they list here. Yeah.
Right, and she's naked for most of her part,
and so like, wow. That makes sense. That's a classic sort of straight to video B movie thing. Is get somebody who's already sort of known for being naked and has no problem.
Who will not have a problem with getting naked.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but also always makes it seem like then like, you know, what's the point? Like I don't know. Like, it's sort of thing where you go like, it's that Playboy Playmate naked in your movie, and you're like, cool, man. I don't know.
And then there's also
she'll get naked, but she can't fucking act. So you know,
they watch a porn movie on TV. So there's another female character.
Yeah, and there's also a cut to flashback of a porn set.
A different porn set, yes. Yeah. Well, actually, that one's fairly not graphic sexually.
Yeah.
But it's violent because it's like a revenge story.
And that's where Scott Spiegel has his cameo as the porn director who gets murdered.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
It really is.
Yeah. So no, that's the kind of thing. So then we get our I guess somewhat name actor here in Bo Hopkins. The Bo Hopkins casting is a real Tarantino-esque move.
No, right? I'd say he's not our lead. Robert.
But I'm saying he's a known he's a name of some sort.
Sure, and he's great.
He is. He's always good.
He's always good. He plays the same character every time, and you get what you get. And he comes
in
great.
Going, God damn it! I know where this guy is. You better tell me.
He is.
Oh, I can't believe he's never actually been in a Tarantino movie. Bo Hopkins.
Oh, interesting. Is he he's a cop? Is he like a state trooper?
I believe he's a U.S. Marshal.
All right, U.S. Marshal.
I believe that's the case.
He breaks into Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick, by the way, his character's name is Buck Flowers. And
gold, man. Somebody sat back from their computer and went, nice.
Well, no, Buck Flower is very much a Tarantino. He's a known character actor who did a lot of grindhouse stuff and a lot of old westerns. So calling this guy Buck Flowers is like a little tip of the hat, and it's yay!
The whole movie is a bad imitation of Tarantino.
Absolutely.
In the storytelling, and then a bad imitation of Rodriguez in the film.
Man, when you have the jibber jabber, them just sitting around the hotel room talking about porn, And you're like, oh, this is Tarantino. It's like Scott Spiegel goes, see, the cool thing about when you do these, you can have scenes that don't actually add anything to the plot. But people are just drawn into what the characters are talking about.
I will say, not that I really needed this, but this movie once again goes, this is just how fucking good Quentin is. Because when you see somebody else do the same thing poorly, you're like, oh, not just anyone can do this.
Exactly.
And same thing with Rodriguez. Oh, yeah, he does. There's a lot more going on than he just put a camera on a thing.
Yep.
These guys are successul for a reason.
Yep.
and it's always that. And boy, growing up in the 90s as a movie nerd, I am not. I'm pretty used to bad Tarantino impressions. So.
Well, I mean, that was an entire almost decade of independent filmmaking,
but
and
here,
I was very happy to see it pass.
Oh God, yeah, me too. Jesus Christ. But here we actually have somebody, literally trying to continue in a world Tarantino's created. And boy, the super loose connections, I thought, like, don't even bother, man. Don't even bother.
The only connection is that our friend, why am I blanking? Because we were just talking about him.
What?
Our U.S. Marshal.
Oh, Bo Hopkins?
Sorry, yes. Bo Hopkins is quiet-ish, a little bit more young, and I mean, definitely younger, and more bookish. Marshal deputy is apparently the son of the U.S. Marshal guy that got killed in the first movie.
That was Michael Parks.
Michael Parks' character, yes. So that's a connection, and then later we go to the titty twister, which apparently we had a resurrection because we've got.
They openly state that the Gecko brothers have already done all their stuff, but yet somehow the titty twister is back, and fucking Trejo's just there, man.
And Trejo is just there.
Apparently, Trejo is in all three of these, so we'll also see him next week.
Yeah. So, okay, great.
Because as we always say on the Action Shelf, because it's a movie, so Danny Trejo's in it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I did think that when they went back to the titty twister, I'm like, okay, this is rebuilt. And then wait, Trejo's back?
No, the thing I absolutely love, this is where budget totally raised its head, is the only thing that was still existing from the previous movie that they could get was the sign. Well, so they have it sort of floating in midair, and the camera's pointing through it or looking up at it, but you don't see it attached to a building.
Is this
so are we to think interior of the titty twister is somebody's budget version of the interior from the first movie?
Well, according to director Scott Spiegel, in the original script, the titty twister was going to be in the movie a lot more, but the budget did not allow it.
There you go.
So I'm sure this was. I mean, do you think there was a version where none of it was at the motel and this was all at the titty twister, sort of replaying the first movie?
Could be.
I mean, I wonder if.
But aren't we lucky we ended up at the El Coyote,
which is Spanish for the coyote? That's a real.
There were a couple of lines I thought were funny. There were a couple lines I thought that were decent.
I didn't think that, but I thought that was a real attempt at a Tarantino joke.
You have a dumb character, and the dumb character is played by Woody Harrelson's younger brother. Speaking of,
actually
getting jobs,
yeah, Brett Harrelson, but also Deputy McGraw is played by Michael Parks' real son, James Parks.
Oh, there you go. Well, that makes perfect sense.
And both McGraw, father and son, are in Kill Bill. Them playing these same characters, because the McGraws are part of the shared Tarantino universe.
Well, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
But here, the line of the stupid guy when they're driving into the hotel go, El Coyote. What does that mean in American?
Yeah.
And then the Spanish character goes, the coyote?
Yeah.
I did laugh. I did. I laughed.
The only thing I like about it is that he says...
Then I ran out in the hallway, started knocking on my neighbor's doors going, listen to this, listen to this.
The only thing I like about it, and because it's specificity dialogue, is that this guy would say, "What's that?" in American, not in English. I do like that.
Well, they kept doing, and the thing is, again, this movie, in the script and in the direction, a little goes a long way because the choices aren't bad. But if you just keep hitting the nail on the head over and over again, you lose all impact. Because every single time any character in this needs Jesus, or as he calls himself, just Jesus,
Yep.
to translate, they go, you're going to need to tell them this in Mexican. And they all say that
Yeah.
over and
Yeah.
over again. Not a single one goes, we don't understand Spanish. No, because this is a dumb Tarantino-esque world, or Rodriguez world.
Yeah.
The dumb gringos will all say, what's he saying? I don't speak Mexican. What does this mean in Mexican? You're like,
Right.
we get it. They're
Yeah.
all stupid redneck types.
Understood.
Got it.
Understood, movie.
But anyway, so the two U.S. Marshals come in to Buck's place and say, where is your friend Luther? Because he escaped from jail. And he goes, literally, I don't know. Then he gets a call from him and says, oh, hi, Mom. How you doing? And the U.S. Marshal's like, your mom, huh? They know it's him. But they walk out anyway because they're not arresting him for anything. And he talks to Luther and says, and Luther's like, I got to get scarce, but we're still going to meet up. We're going to do that heist. And he's like, okay, meet me in Mexico.
That
Great.
bank, what does he call it? It's like the cash stash of the shit. It's the, it's classic, like, this is the big one, boys.
Yeah, it's a bank in Mexico where a bunch of American drug dealers keep their money. So the $5 million or whatever is supposed to be there is still there. And it's just up to us to collect.
None of
so
that.
He's like, great. He goes, put the team together.
It's interesting. None of that will matter. Like the connection to the drug dealers, that's never part of the. So who cares? It could have just been anything.
It could have just been the same bank
by the way,
Raising Arizona. Looks like a hayseed bank. Truth is, it is a hayseed bank.
Oh, man. Don't remind me of Raising Arizona when I'm talking about this movie, because
I know.
Oh, what a fucking perfect
Get that?
movie.
We using code names.
Oh, God, it's such a great movie. But I looked it up here. Budget of the first film, $19 million. Sure. Budget of this one, $5 million.
Yep.
So this thing basically cost a quarter of what the first one cost. And
it's all up there on the screen. All up there on the screen.
I mean, it is. All $5 million are on screen for sure. But yeah, so he goes, all right, well, I got to put the crew together. First stop, I'm going to a rodeo to recruit a sad sack clown.
Sad sack alcoholic rodeo clown. And this is, I think, CW. Is that his name?
Yeah, CW, plays by Muse Watson.
He's okay. Again,
they're
nothing
all
here to do.
Okay, man. Hey, this guy's big claim to fame is he's the killer, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, wow.
He's the fisherman with the hook on his hand, if anyone remembers that. Yeah. And of course, I'm
You've
pretty
got his Funko Pop figure.
Oh, obviously, yeah. No, that franchise, I was a big, and I still am a big Scream guy. Never got into the I Know What You Did Last Summer so much.
I think I've only seen that first one.
It
didn't mean much to me.
No, it's fine. It's pretty forgettable. He's also in an episode of Justified, but I'm pretty sure this entire cast is in Justified because
at some point,
everyone seems like a Justified character at the very.
Well,
least.
I'll say, and again, whether or not they actually are Texans,
yeah,
but they did get a group of, because they spent all their money on getting a Robert Patrick, and. Yeah. Trejo probably got decent.
Yeah.
But I think they got everybody cheap. Luckily, they went to probably some good community theaters or whatever, or local film. These are all solid people that seem,
I will say,
they read very authentic to me.
Well, he reads as authentic, but he's terrible, except for Woody Harrelson's brother, who I think is.
Oh
awful.
No, he's not great.
No, and if you look,
but he is the stupid one. So I mean, it's
allowed. But it's and if you look, literally, pretty much every credit he has is in one of his brother's movies.
Yep, and he plays a character in this called Ray Bob.
Oh, also, he does the voice of Woody Harrelson's character in the Zombieland video game.
Oh, nice.
I love that. He's got the Jim Hanks thing. You know about Jim Hanks?
Yes.
That basically every time...
I've never seen a Jim Hanks film, but I am aware of his career.
But Jim Hanks, the bulk of his career is doing the voice of Woody in anything that isn't the Toy Story movies. The rides, the games, the Saturday morning cartoon shows.
He's no Joe Estevez.
I just love the idea of I am professionally my brother's part in whatever he doesn't want to do.
Yep.
Call Jim. He'll do Woody in that new ride you're doing or whatever.
Yeah. It'll sound close enough.
If you need an animatronic Woody in a Disneyland restaurant, it's Jim Hanks. He's available all day. Yeah. So no, he's terrible in this, but I think everybody else is pretty good. But yeah, Muse Watson, by the way, he's a Louisiana native.
There you go.
Dwayne Whitaker. By the way, Dwayne Whitaker plays Luther, also co-screenwriter here.
Oh, well,
He's
then that takes him down a notch for me.
He and Spiegel are credited with this script. Boof.
Okay.
Yeah. He's from Abilene, though. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so, I mean, no, they do. I agree with that, except for it's not that it doesn't look like Texas. It's just that they don't want to show me what it does look like, which makes me suspicious.
They're
and then
their
it's
shots
the South Africa, like, because
By
they're
the
like,
way,
desert.
I absolutely love them driving by of course, you've got to have a steer skull. But at the very beginning, they drive by it, and the fucking boa constrictor is going through it. And I'm like going, boas are South American, but not Mexico, my friend. So get rid of that nonsense. Then later, they drive by the same one, and now it's a tarantula. And I'm like, okay, that is Mexico. Okay. Yeah, they have a tarantula on the same skull, as if every time they pass the skull, some creature is on it.
Well, the boa just moved out, and the tarantula moved in, so he's got a new lease.
Totally open. This place is free.
Oh, thank God! I've been looking, but that boa was he was going to hold that place. So. No, it is just like they're doing everything they can in those things to go like, see, Southern Desert, and you're like, well, okay,
get it? It's Texas. Get it?
No, but it's like, but no, it's South Africa for tax reasons.
Sure.
Which, I mean, a lot of movies do. It's just so we get the sad sack clown who's going like,
he's the safecracker.
My wife left me and broke my leg. And then you get the bit about, well, at least if you told me your dog died, he goes, my dog did die.
Yeah, he goes, man, if you said your dog died, you'd have the makings of a good country song. He goes, well, actually, my dog did pass.
Man, poor Robert Patrick. Once again, we've talked about it a few times on the action shelf. This guy always comes to play, but is often let down.
Yeah, I hate seeing that, where it's is this the best this good actor can get?
I mean, he's a guy whose career is all over. He's in great stuff, terrible stuff, big budget, low budget. He's a character actor, I guess, in that sense.
He's a working dude.
But and actually, I was talking about 1923 briefly before we started recording. He's in that. He's got a good part on there, which of course he does. He's made for a show like that. He's also been doing the voice of Wolverine in a bunch of the Marvel podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty good for him. Yeah.
So he took over for what's his name?
Oh, the guy from
did the first two Wolverine.
Yeah. He's not doing that anymore. The new ones are him in the Wasteland.
British
it's
dude, right?
It's the guy from The Hobbit, Richard Armitage.
Oh yeah, Armitage. There you go.
And he was great.
He was great.
Yeah.
And then he skipped over to do voices for Castlevania on Netflix.
There you go. But yeah, if anyone's been listening to the Wastelanders series.
There you go. Okay. I haven't gotten to the point where Wolverine shows up.
Yeah.
I'm still in the part of Wastelanders that's just Guardians.
Yeah. Well, so you've also got Stephen Lang as old Hawkeye in that too. And that actually makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
They're because the Wastelanders, so they're the older versions. I think it's less that Armitage left and more they cast older actors.
Yeah.
By the way, Stephen Lang actually would be perfect for Old Man Logan Hawkeye visually. Put the long white hair on him. I could totally see that. I do love Stephen Lang. Thank God he's not in this. All right. He's been in plenty other garbage, but so he gets that guy. Next we go to Jesus, Raymond Cruz, who, like I said, a guy who's been in everything. He was in like every movie I watched as a kid that was about an elite unit. He was one of the guys on a commando team.
Sure.
He's one of the sailors in Under Siege. He's one of the special forces guys in Clear and Present Danger. I'm pretty sure he's a Marine in The Rock.
And he's very intense always.
He is. He's one of the Marine. He is one of the Marines in The Rock. The Substitute, past episode of the Action Shelf. He's one of Tom Berenger's guys in that. He's got that look, and he's played, of course, a lot of gangsters, a lot of Mexican. I mean, we talked about Tuco, but also he's like one of the main evil gang members in Training Day.
And here the gag is he's the sort of pumped up, violent one.
Because if you're putting together a team of criminals in a movie, one guy needs to be fucking nuts.
Yeah, one guy has to
That's
be
just the rule.
the guy that's going to take it too far.
You
ruin
have to. I'm sorry.
cool.
I'm sorry. You just have to cast a psycho.
Yeah. And in this case,
because it was Quentin last time.
But did you think the dog was going to pay off? I thought the dog would pay off because he raises pit bulls,
especially since they showed it for so long. You would think it would
for so long. And it goes, you know what my secret is to raising these hyper ferocious pit bulls that I use for fighting dogs? What's your secret? He goes, I juice them too.
Yeah.
So in other words, he's feeding his dog steroids, and Buck is like, dude, that's crazy. He goes, is it? I always win. Ha ha.
Well, it must be because I'm crazy. Like I said, Raymond Cruz, totally solid character actor. This part, horribly written.
Oh, absolutely. But then he goes, we're not getting, he goes, you got CW? Yeah, he goes, you're not going to get Ray Bob, are you? He goes, oh boy. And then they get in his car, which is the focal point.
Don't even tell me. You're going to get
Which is a
Ray
big
Bob.
old Cadillac with steer horns on the front.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Oh,
and
the
has
second
a
you
vanity plate that says "Bite me."
Yeah, hilarious. And he's got a tattoo on his chest that says like "bad dog."
Yeah, and on his back it's "Enemigo," which I believe is enemy.
Yeah, he went to the same tattoo artist as Jared Leto's Joker. Which is called the On the Nose Tattoo Parlor.
Yeah, I need you to let people know that I'm crazy. You know, you probably don't need it because I need you to spell it out.
Yeah.
That I am off kilter.
Oh, this poor guy. I just felt bad for him. Also, the second you see those...
What is Spanish for off kilter? No, I'm sorry. What's Mexican for off kilter?
They should have just called him that. I mean, they call him Jesus. They might as well have just called him they call him a psycho, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Flashback to Stripes.
Yeah. I mean, it might
up, Francis.
It might as well be that.
You touch my stuff, I kill you. Now, any of you homos try to touch my stuff, I kill you.
Yeah. Oh, fucking masterpiece.
But anyway, so they.
What I was gonna say is the
Ray
second
Bob.
you see the steer horns on the front of the truck, I'm like, a vampire will be staked on one of those.
Immediately I had the same thing. It's like, which one will get staked?
And it's him. It will be him on his hoisted by his own petard on that, I guess.
Oh, the poetry of it's
So of course he does go to Ray Bob, who's working as a security guard. And,
Ray Bob's an idiot.
And has a wife, because they have this whole bit where he comes out in fishing gear and goes, I had to tell the missus something.
Yeah, first they go find him at his job where he is a security guard. He goes, what? The heist's still on? But Luther, he's out of jail. We're going to meet in Mexico. He's like, okay. And then they go pick him up at his house, and he comes out with fishing gear. He's like, I had to tell the wife I was going somewhere. And they all laugh. Haha, you're an idiot, Ray Bob. And now they're on their way to Mexico.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this guy's IMDb, Brett Harrelson, and one of his credits is he was Woody Harrelson's trainer on Kingpin. Oh, that was just... Can Carol give my brother a paycheck?
Maybe he is a good bowler, and he trained his brother how to bowl.
Could be. He also does play Larry Flint's brother in The People vs. Larry Flint, which makes so much sense.
Man, I haven't watched that in a long time. That really was a good Woody Harrelson movie.
Really good stuff. I just wish he'd shut up about vaccines, but beyond that, I love the guy.
Me too.
Love Woody Harrelson though, and also has some ADR credits on his brother, where it's like, I can't come in for the Lupin. How about you get Brett to come on in for that? And now you see me too. Need some extra lines. Yeah, Brett could probably come in.
Weirdly, given the pitch of his voice, which is not the same as his brother's, there are moments in this where his Texas accent sounds closer to Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, weirdly, you sound more like that guy than you do your brother.
Well, weirdly, I was going to say, he weirdly did both voices on True Detective.
During True Detective. Time is a flat circle. Was that good?
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle. You want me to emphasize it? Time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
Can you pull it back a little? No.
Nope. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so he's on board, and they all start driving to the El Coyote, which of course is in American means the coyote.
Yeah, that's the motel that they're going to wait for Luther to join them at. Then they just sit there eating food, drinking beer, and watching porn. And then Luther is on his way in a Jeep, and he hits a big old bat.
He does.
In the dark
Holy
desert. He hits a big old bat.
Holy shit! What a bat!
Jeep,
and he's like, "What in the fuck is this?"
It's the puppet bat is flopping on the ground with blood, and he takes out his gun and blows it away.
The makeup is not terrible, but these bats.
Come on, man! Don't you love a good puppet bat?
I mean, I do, but
we've been watching monster movies now for 17 years. Are you sure you don't love a puppet bat?
I love a puppet bat, but it's sort of the thing where it's like, I wish this movie would have gone campier or something if it was going to look like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really trying to do what the first movie did, where it's like, no, it is grim crime movie that meets horror movie. Or it is like, Tarantino
or
pulp
Tarantino
crime. I'm sorry, like
grim.
Pulp crime though.
It's going for black humor. Much as it can.
Not grim, but like nasty. It's a nasty bit of business.
It's grungy.
Grungy is a perfect word for it. Yeah. So you have that, but the thing is, like, this isn't jiving with me here, man.
No,
it doesn't. It just, I mean, believe it or not, Tarantino's a better writer than Scott Spielberg. I never thought I'd say it. But of course, when they go to, so he does that, and he opens up, he's like, Jesus, a bat. And he just starts.
Listeners, direct your emails to John. I don't want any of that.
All you Spiegel bros out there.
Spiegel bros. Restore the Spiegelverse.
Yeah. And so, Luther just starts pumping rounds into this thing. Blam, 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 blam. And then he's just like, Jesus, that was crazy.
By the way, I can't. I mean, we just watched it not too long ago, but do bullets have effects on vampires in From Dusk Till Dawn?
Not really.
They still had to stake them.
Yeah. I think similar to what we talked about last week with vampires, it's like they would kind of react to them, but it doesn't actually do anything to them.
Because all they do in this movie, besides wait for the sun to kill them, is hold them off with crosses. And Lord God, how they leaned on the cross thing, like even something that just happens to be cross-shaped that has no holy message behind it.
That's so dumb, and I fucking hated it.
So
they also
dumb.
Took something I do like in the first movie, which is Harvey Keitel putting the pipe through the shotgun and making the cross. But here, everybody's doing it all the time, constantly. And you're like, a cool inventive thing in the first movie now is just leaned on intensely in this. And also, as you talk about, it's not an inherently holy object, but it's wielded by a man of God in that movie. So it makes sense.
Here, basically, anyone that puts their fingers up like this, I don't even know why they were bothering finding pieces of wood. It's like, just put your fingers up like that, because in this movie, that would kill them. They are so freaked out by that.
The best one is when the dial on the safe.
No, that's what I was getting at. Like something that is just vaguely cross-shaped.
Nobody even does that. That just happens. It's like, oh shit.
Most windows are in quarters, and so you have a frame that has a cross in it. So they can't even deal with windows probably.
Yeah, I know. It just
If someone accidentally dropped their Twix,
their
Twixes, and they happen to one lands on top of the other, these vampires would have been fucked. The Twixes.
Oh, the Twix. It's the only candy bar. Movie. It's the only candy bar with a cookie crunch.
Let's finish it up. All right. So
they go here, and yes, then we proceed to spend the next, I don't know, hour and a half in this hotel. My God.
And they're trying to amuse us. This is the problem, is they're trying to amuse us. Now, when they go to the hotel, there's a bit with the lady who runs it.
Yep.
That doesn't add up, but it's not too long. But it's like,
and you best believe,
do you speak Mexican?
You best believe he introduces this lobby of this motel by putting a camera on a turning fan, and it's going back and forth. We also didn't mention earlier, talk about the shots, when for no reason the camera is on Raymond Cruz as he's doing push-ups, and it's going up and down from his perspective. Oh, just genius filmmaking at work here.
Dude. And I can't pick a worse one. This is like trying to pick like what's the worst line of dialogue. It's just too many.
Yeah.
When Luther goes to the titty twister,
yeah,
that weird ass POV shot of his thumb and finger going to the brim of his cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did that add to anything? What was the point of like having hand cam as you tilt
and once again, Spiegel
hat.
Being somebody who came up with Sam Raimi is the fucking master of those, but always in the service of fun or scares
of either
or
comedy
story.
or fear or something.
Yeah,
he has a reason, and it's not every other
it's always,
shot.
You can always it's I don't watch a Sam Raimi movie and going, why is he doing that? I'm just experiencing the feeling. When he tilts the camera, I'm going, whoa, something scary's happening. Here, every single time he does one of these, I'm going, why? Why are you doing this? Why have you chosen to do this?
And by the way, when we go back to the lobby when she gets killed, it does it again. And I'm like, stop it. Why is that the only way we can view the lobby is through this rotating fan?
I wanted to stop the movie and grab Scott Spiegel by the shoulders and go, please stop. You have
No one was
to stop.
on set asking why this shot.
Yeah.
Why is this necessary?
Oh my God. And
in the editing suite, no one was like going, we could probably lose this showy nonsense.
I also think about that on set too, especially in a low budget movie. Think about how much fucking time it takes to get that
setups.
And I'd just be going, do we need this shit, man?
Jesus Christ, when Robert Patrick is looking down the pipe that went into the lady cop.
Yeah.
And you're like, why?
Why are you doing that?
We have a POV and it cuts back to him again.
I was gonna say
when she blows up, and you're like, why?
Not only does he do these cool shots, he'll linger or he'll use them multiple times. It's not. Oh man, and he does
that POV vampire fang shot of the inside of a vampire's mouth biting a throat. That could have been a drinking game, and everyone would have died. I'm like, if you do that once in a vampire movie, I might go like, oh, that's bizarre and crazy. But he just kept going back to the well. He went back to the well for everything. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Luther.
By the way, this movie was actually called From Dusk Till Dawn 2 Back to the Well is what it was. The original title.
So Luther, the Jeep hitting the back. He's now forced to walk to the titty twister because he needs a ride.
Or what they're telling us is the titty twister, is we're saying it's the sign and then a bar that looks radically different. So I'd like to think this is the Titty Twister 2. This is their second location, maybe.
Sure, and they're probably going a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're going a little
There's
subtler.
There's only one naked dancer,
but
luckily, 18.
Luckily, they did hire the twin brother of the bartender from the other Titty Twister. Because
they actually give him a name in the IMDb. What's his name? They don't mention it in the movie.
His name is Razor Charlie, which is the same as his name in the first From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, so Razor Charlie. But did they ever?
Oh no! Wait! He's Razor Eddie. He was Razor Charlie. So he is supposed to be the brother.
He is a twin. Twin vampire brother.
Twin vampire brothers, and I guess we'll meet the other one in the third movie.
Oh, let's hope his first is Razor something.
Yeah. Although
I'm Razor Felix, brother to Razor Eddie.
Although
Razor Charlie.
Spoiler of sorts, next week's is a prequel.
Oh,
yes. So I think he's actually back.
Does it have to be next week? Do we have to?
Let's just get these out of the way, man.
All right. Anyway, so Luther walks in. He's like, "Hey, man, give me something to drink." And this doesn't. He's like, "Give me some tequila." He drinks the tequila. It has the worm at the bottom, and he freaks out. He goes, "God damn! Give me something else. How about whiskey?"
Yeah.
We're like, what is the point of this? And then he's like, "My car broke down, and I need to get to the El Coyote." And for some reason, vampire.
Oh no!
Razor...
Doesn't he already say this? Because I hit a bat, and he's like, really?
No, I actually think that Razor, what's his name, offers him a ride before he hears about the hitting of the bat.
This is Razor Eddie, not
Razor Eddie's like going, the El Coyote. Sure, if you want to wait half an hour, I get off then. I could give you a ride. He's like, thanks, brother. And then, on their way out, he's like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it, man. I hit a bat. And then Razor Eddie's like, what?
And they drive
You
out
hit
to
a-
where his
Oh, what now?
you hit my friend. I mean, a bat. Yeah, they drive
Which
out.
shouldn't have bothered it because it's a fucking vampire.
Well, 'cause
and
when
it
they go
only
out
got
there-
shot with a bullet.
But apparently that is real bad news because when they drive out there and find this vampire,
He says, "I'm not going to make it."
he goes, "I'm bleeding to death here, man. I'm fucking dead."
So I
even
don't know what's
even
up
though
with these
they
vampires.
pull the bullet out of him, and I would think in most vampire lore, then he's okay.
He heals.
Yeah. No, he's like, oh, that's it, man. He got me good. I'm done.
Yeah. So the thing is that
These are holy bullets.
Luther
apparently.
doesn't understand why, but Razor Eddie pulls over where the Jeep is. He goes, "That's your Jeep?" He's like, "Yeah." And there's only a blood trail where the bat was. He goes, "Was the bat here?" He goes, "Yeah, but I don't know what this is about. I'm still just trying to get the El Coyote." He's like, "Hold on a second." And he goes off into the shadows and pulls back a guy. And he goes, "Is this the guy who messed you up?" Talking about Luther. And the guy who's clearly a vampire dude is like, "Yeah, man, he's the one." And Luther's like, "Dude, I hit a bat. I don't know who this dude is." But
And
then
also,
they attack
yeah,
him
he
and they
didn't
do this.
He was just driving and this bat flew in the front of his car. It's not like he was like, "I'm gonna kill that fucking bat."
Oh my God. And is this the thing where Luther gets into Razor Eddie's truck to
Yes.
try to take
Yes.
off?
Yeah.
And then there's a crane shot that Johnny LaRue would have fucking loved.
Somewhere Johnny LaRue was coming in his pants watching this.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And this is.
Look, and I could hear faintly, "LaRue, where'd you get that crane?"
Luther's trying to get out, but the vampire Razor Eddie turns into a vampire bat because the other guy did die.
Yeah.
Swoops into the truck to
Yeah.
bite Luther's throat. So the crane shot is of the truck just going in circles because Luther is being drained of blood.
Oh my God.
And you're like, that could be a
Oh
great
my
shot.
God.
Maybe it doesn't need to go on for 8 minutes, but it's a pretty cool shot. Jesus Christ, this movie.
You know what's interesting? This reminded me
Nothing's interesting in this movie, so
No.
it's got to be something else.
It is actually. I mean, it's connected to this movie, but it's something I heard. I'm a big fan of the director Jason Reitman, and
Sure.
I heard an interview with him once where he talked about he and his cinematographer have a rule on their sets that if one of them sees the other one setting up like a real cool shot, they just come over and go, "Hey, that's a cool shot," and that's the signal to knock that shit off.
I love it.
And you go like, "That's it." Where it's like, I get that that's cool, but why are you doing that? And
Yeah,
so
that signal should have been passed on.
That was
well,
what I'm
basically
thinking.
every 15 minutes to Mr. Spiegel.
and let me see. Reitman's got a few Academy Award nominations. Spiegel has how many? Was it again here? That's
cool
right.
shot.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah, he needed a Jason Reitman there to go. Maybe just I don't know. Try to tell a story.
Yep. Maybe just follow the actors and trust in them to carry people.
Unfortunately, he will be directing the new Ghostbusters movie. Scott Speaking. No.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Could you? We went from Jason Reitman to we got this Spiegel guy. He's really gonna
I
get
have
ready.
a feeling that Spiegel probably does try to adapt his style each time, but he's still bad.
Yeah, I would
So I have
be
a
curious.
feeling
Like,
he would try to copy,
like
you know,
Hostel.
Jason Reitman.
Yeah, do you think it'd be or like when he does Hostel, he's trying to do Eli Roth?
Yeah, I bet you.
Probably, yeah.
And I bet and Eli Roth is no great visual storyteller either, so I bet it's a real fun flick.
Well, I never liked any of those Hostel movies, so
No, me either.
Not really the torture porn. As much as I love a gory horror movie, the
I
torture
watched
gore.
first Hostel and I watched Cabin Fever, and I think those are the only two of his I've ever seen.
I, of course, being me, I did see his Death Wish remake, obviously. With Bruce
right,
Willis,
yes.
which is
I didn't see that.
It's very gory. It's very gory.
Great.
Needlessly, probably, yeah.
I can't believe you said that.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, we'll just make the first movie, but dumber and with way bloodier deaths.
All right, so I'm going to get us back on. So, back at the El Coyote, they're watching porn. There's kind of a funny bit. I mean, again, it would have been much better.
Everything needs to be counted. It's kind of funny, I
like
guess.
This, again, in the hands of a Tarantino, because that's who he's trying to copy hardcore in the writing. But basically, they're having this discussion of like, I'm not really satisfied with this porn movie we're watching. It's like, why not? It's a fuck movie. They're fucking. And then CW does this whole thing of like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I need more of a story. It's like, here's the thing: is that if you know the characters and you know what they want, then it makes when they fuck that much better. And you're like going, oh, that's kind of a like, all right, that's a film conversation, like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
And then he goes, the only question I have about these characters on screen that are fucking right now is, why hasn't he fucked her in the ass yet? And you're like, oh, see, it's a turnaround. He was saying he wanted a story, but the main thing he's upset about is why hasn't there been anal sex yet? And then I am laughing so hard that I threw up in my mouth. And then
I threw up a few times during this, but not from laughing.
We didn't mention that when they first showed up, Jesus walked by the hottie, and the hottie whispered in his ear. So like, probably like, come see me in my room.
I'm going, okay, so she's the Selma Hayek of this.
Is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But then Jesus is like,
sorry,
I'm out of here while you're watching porn.
Apparently I've given them way too much credit with that.
You have. But he's like, you guys enjoy your movie. I'm going to go get some of the real thing. So he goes down to another room and he has sex with the Playboy Playmate who is not a vampire.
Oh, and you better believe we get the POV thrusting up and down. Oh my God. And now I realize, why don't more movies do this with sex scenes? Oh, because it's annoying as hell.
And then he slips into such a major sleep that he does not hear when she goes to take a bath and is then slaughtered.
They shouldn't have cut out that scene where he takes an Ambien.
Yes, she is. And again, this is annoying. Is that Spiegel's like going, "Hey, you know what else? Tarantino likes movies, so do I. You guys remember Psycho? I'm going to position my camera just like it is in Psycho."
We'll talk later about when Spiegel also goes, you know what else I like Tarantino? Sergio Leone movies.
Yeah, do you like this? Because I got this from, shut the fuck up, Spiegel. But
it's
anyway.
Like, let me reference movies, the most obvious and classic movie references, just like Tarantino.
So Naked Hottie is literally slaughtered because they didn't skimp on the fake blood in the shower by a bat, a puppet bat.
At least $1 million of that $5 million was spent on blood. Jesus Christ.
And it's another really drawn out thing where you're like going, guy, do you have no confidence in your script? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you don't have a script.
What do you mean? The guy who plays Luther wrote it.
Oh, that's right. But she is literally screaming her head off as she's being torn apart and drained.
Once again, I'm somebody who wants more gore in movies, but this isn't gore. This is just extended same thing. It's just like, right. Sure.
Right. So, but then I guess whatever, the bat that's attacking her goes away, and again Jesus is sleeping. But then she comes back into the room. Or
the bat doesn't go away because Luther is the bat when he opens.
No, I know, but I thought, doesn't he show up at the door?
No, he's when he opens the door to the bathroom, Luther's there, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in here?" And then he sees behind him the literal bloodbath, which someone says also later.
Yeah,
I guess this thing's
at least
a real
acknowledges,
bloodbath.
and the other guy goes, "That's a terrible pun." So I mean, at least they acknowledged it. But yeah, she sits up while he's talking to Luther. He's like, "Ah, man, okay." So Jesus, we get the impression he's immediately turned by sexy lady vampire, and then where does she get? What happens to her? She has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, does she?
Well, because he gets.
Maybe she's a major character in the next one.
Wait a minute. Well, because it takes place before. Hold on here. Let me see.
Oh, right.
Cameron. Yeah, he bites her. They throw Jesus around a lot. There's a lot of him.
Oh, that's right. They throw him into walls and shit, and we get a lot of crazy Cam there too.
Yeah. Oh, he grabs the Bible from the hotel and burns them with that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense, I guess.
That Bible has the shiniest.
No, he decapitates her with the shard of the mirror.
Oh, that's right.
Which makes no sense. That wouldn't be sharp enough at all to cut off someone's head.
No, you're right. It not only not sharp enough, but also just not long enough.
No, it does because he when he's fighting with her, he smashes her into the mirror, and actually the better makeup effect is after she gets hit in the mirror and she's just got the glass shards in her face. That's okay.
It works for a few seconds.
Yeah,
yes. It's like to cut away from that,
like
because
everything in this movie.
Latex.
like everything in this movie, don't
Oh, yeah.
linger, but this movie
Don't linger.
lingers because there's about 35 minutes of plot in this 88-minute movie.
Hey, John,
Yeah,
did you have to let it linger? Did you have to?
that's what the
Did you have to?
That's what the Cranberries told me.
They're still asking. R.I.P. By the way.
R.I.P. I was gonna say
gone too soon.
they're actually not, unfortunately. No, I was a big fan of theirs, so that's that.
Yeah, Doris O'Riordan. She was a interesting singer. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's right. I totally forgot.
That's right.
He gets
Yeah, so
off.
we get that. Yeah, so he cuts her head off with that, and he escapes here. The movie keeps doing this thing where it's like, whew, got away from the vampire. Oh wait, other vampire outside. Ah!
Oh no, my buddy Luther is a vampire. So
And then, yes,
basically what happens
They both show
is-
up at
is
Robert
now
Patrick's.
Luther and Jesus acting totally cool. By the way, you would never suspect that something had happened to
There's
them.
a line from Robert Patrick where he goes, "Hey, you guys feeling okay?" Because
It's like, you guys all right?
they're
It's
both
like,
all of a
"Sure,
sudden
man."
in like long coats with pale skin, going, "Yes." we
Yeah,
are
they both
here
walk in. They are now
for the
vampires, and
heist."
basically they're like, "Well, you were real late getting here. Let's hit up that bank tomorrow." He's like, "No, we're doing it tonight, and we only have like a couple hours before the sun comes.
We have to
up
do it at night, and we have to do it before the sun comes up for reasons.
for reasons." And then Rob Patrick's like, "Okay."
And then I'm pretty sure this is the first one of our monster movies. A vampire proceeds to roll out some blueprints.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen this before. He goes, "All right, here's the bank." And by the way,
Renfield, you're gonna cover this corner.
oh my god, I want to see it, man. I said just lean into, if you're making a vampire heist movie, lean into a vampire
Well, if you're
heist.
doing a vampire heist, then it should be something that would still be challenging to vampires.
Yeah.
And not something where, I mean, literally, they are supernatural beings that should be able to just walk into anywhere.
I mean, you
and
could
do
you
whatever
kind
they
of could have
want.
taken the plot of last week's movie where he's trying to steal the magic cross. That could have been a vampire heist story.
Sure.
I mean, give them something. It's just sort of like they're going to steal some money, but yeah, they're also not going to use their vampire powers, or they just start robbing. I mean, if you had more money, you just do a thing where it turns into heat and they're vampires and they're pulling off multiple. These are all better ideas.
Or you're doing like a Badlands, Natural Born Killers, where they're on a murder spree.
Well, that's that. What's that Timothy Chalamet movie that's out?
That's actually kind of like Near Dark as well.
Yeah.
Kind of just a
but that the
backwoods killer spree.
was it Bones and all? They're not vampires, but they're
I
cannibals.
haven't seen it. Yeah,
I haven't seen it either, but that's very like Badlands, but they're eating people. Which,
oh, that's nice.
Which I'm on board. I want to see that movie.
Right.
Sounds like something I'd dig. It's
You're a huge
elevated.
cannibal thing. Not
It's
my thing,
elevated
but-
horror.
Uh-huh,
All right,
elevated.
See, it's artsy. All right, it means I can like cinema, but still go to something that has murder in it.
No puppet bats. I'm not watching.
I see. Yes. Luther. By the way, when he killed the man, he used the fan to kill the manager, which also
That's
makes
right.
no sense
No,
because he's a vampire.
right.
But look, that'll make a hell of a lot more sense than when they're firing automatic weapons later. So
Is it when he walks into the room, or when he walks in, or where he's at? Oh, it's when he first shows up, Luther, and says to Jesus, or Jesus, and Jesus goes, "Where you been, man?" He goes, "I just stopped off for a quick bite."
mhm.
Vampire movies, there should be a moratorium on using quick bite.
That's not even the worst one. Because the worst one is when they go in and they go, "Hey man, you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, I was fucking that girl. She sucked me dry."
Ah, yes.
Get out of here. Get out of here, movie.
It didn't. It
It
had
didn't.
about another 30 minutes
I
left.
told it to leave, and it refused to leave my apartment. I was like, "No, I said get out. You are not welcome here, film."
Even after it left my apartment,
Mhm.
I can still smell it, man. It's still here.
Oh God, was From Dusk Till
I need
Dawn
to get
2
some
here?
Febreze.
Was From Dusk Till Dawn 2 in here? Why would you let that in here?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
you know it,
man.
yeah. So yeah,
And now that I've allowed it in my apartment, it can show up anytime.
so they go, "All right, we're gonna drive to the bank," and then Luther starts putting. I don't know where he got this. All of a sudden, he's just got tinfoil that he's putting on the one. Talking about Near Dark.
Yes.
And he goes,
Yeah,
and Robert Patrick's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He just goes, just precautions, man. And
Well,
Robert
they
Patrick,
both have different
okay.
answers. Jesus says, "It looks cool." And then Luther says, "Oh, just being safe."
Hey man, you know what else is cool? Being able to see out the windows when I'm driving. But to each their own, I guess. Jesus.
Yep.
I'm talking to you, Jesus.
Jesus. Yes.
Yeah, we're just back to history of the world now. Yes. Jesus Christ. What? So funny. All right. So yeah, so they go into the bank. They immediately kill this guard. And once again, because Robert Patrick's such an ill-defined character, he's the one who goes, "Did you have to do that, man? We really weren't looking to..."
that didn't make sense. I mean, in other words, he is a criminal.
Yeah.
He hangs out with criminals who, including one at least, who's killed several times, and that's Luther. And yet they break into this place where there's only one guard, and the guard is killed pretty instantly. And Robert Patrick is now like, "Why'd you have to kill the guard?"
Yeah, man. I mean, once again, if you had made that like a consistent thing in his character,
are you a gentleman thief? Is that what we're led to believe?
Like I'm saying, if you established that though, and that was his whole character throughout the movie, and he was like, "What did I say, man? No killing," or something like that.
Yeah, if you are like George Clooney in the first one, who the only reason people die is because he has a blind spot where his brother's concerned,
right? Yeah, well, because even as pulpy as that movie is, there's some underlying structure of character in it.
There's some thought.
Yeah, it's almost like, once again, it's almost like Quentin Tarantino thinks about what he puts on a page.
Yep.
Can you believe it?
Yep.
Can you believe it?
I can't.
Yeah. So they go in there. They start drilling the safe. Now I'm going to Tarantino produced Killing Zoe. We're doing that now, where we're going to drill the safe for like a good long time. Much better movie, good heist movie. But directed by Roger Avery, a still not as talented, but more talented
friend who gets work because of his connections.
Yeah, same thing, but actually does have some inkling of filmmaking talent.
Yes.
But Killing Zoe is still sort of Tarantino-esque, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Why not cash in on what you got known for?
Doesn't he technically have an Oscar because of his contributions to Pulp Fiction, Roger Avery, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a falling out, but I think then they patched shit up.
Well, because they do a podcast together now, so yeah.
Oh, right. Absolutely. They do patch things.
Which is a very fun, super nerdy movie podcast.
I've only listened to a couple of episodes. I actually wait for them to do a movie that I want to hear them talk about.
Because they're always doing stuff no one wants to talk about. Like, where you going?
But they did The Fool Killer, the one I keep talking to you about.
They did do The Fool Killer, which I did enjoy that. And I also agree with fans that the Moonraker conversation is legendary.
Okay. Well, I haven't gone down that.
Because they are ready to kill each other over Moonraker, which is pretty funny. So they get in there. Also, bad call for Luther to bite the safecracker mid-safe cracking, because when he does it, he also trips the alarm. What are you doing?
This doesn't make any sense.
You're slowing down the heist. Now the cops
when they
have been
go into
alerted.
this bank, by the way, it is a stupid thing where, again, you want your entire gang to be vampires. Do it at the drop, at the get-go. But instead, Luther does this nonsense about, they're like, how are you going to get in? You would also imagine if this was a thing they had been planning for a while, why are they now asking, how are we going to do this? But anyway, he's like, don't worry about it. And he goes around, he flies in as a bat through like the air vents.
Yeah. Oh, that looks like shit.
And then he walks out the front door and they go, how'd you do that? Did you get the keys? And he jingles the keys because he killed the security guard and got the keys. This is just stupid. And so
by the way, this was my cat's favorite part of the movie was the jingling of the keys. He loved it.
I'm sure that Columbo was like, what's that now? What?
Some keys.
So the whole thing is just one by one, like Luther turns CW as he's drilling into the safe. So now we got them.
At least if you can do it, at least wait for him to open the fucking thing. What are you doing?
So in other words, cops.
He's already drank like 3 people. He can't be hungering for the blood.
No. And but the cops are on the way. You hear the sirens. They're like, we got to hurry this up.
I will say response time in this small Mexican town, very good.
Plus, I got to say, whatever this fictional town is, no fucking way do you have that many cops.
No. Well, and also
because there's a wave that comes in.
Yeah.
And there's easily like 35 cops out there, and they all get wasted in time. And then by the end of it, more cops.
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? Another county? Another city, perhaps?
Yeah.
Because
We're
how
out in the
many? And that's the ones that
we're
are
out
coming in
the
after
middle
everything's
of
over.
nowhere, Mexico. I mean,
Nowhere, Mexico.
absolutely,
Where everyone apparently is part of the police force.
And also, no issue for the U.S. Marshals to get across the border. I mean, they don't have jurisdiction there.
Nope.
Well, whatever.
Oh, there are many problems
because they just show up out of nowhere.
There's some inventive astronomy in this movie.
Oh, the eclipse.
They do set it up, but it's just so fucking stupid. And they also, someone in the trivia pointed out, it's like, they mentioned that it's a lunar eclipse, but it's a full moon. They're like going, yeah, that can't happen. And when the eclipse happens, here's the reason why there's an eclipse in the movie. It's just so, and you know that they were patting themselves on the back so hard. They're like, the sun's going to start coming up. That looks like doom for our vampires.
Yeah.
Oh, but then the eclipse comes in, which makes it dark again. So that gives them extra darkness to fight.
And when it happens, Robert Patrick goes, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yes, but here's the thing. They show the eclipse happening, and that is a sped up version of the way it would in real life. Because you literally see like, whoa.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
But if it was moving at that same speed, because guess what? Nothing slows down. If that was the speed at which it would
move away just as fast.
Yeah, it would literally be a 2-minute eclipse, which actually eclipses don't last that long. This movie would have it that at least another 45 minutes to an hour in total darkness happens before the sun comes back out. Bullshit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I had to say it.
No, that really, I was like, come on, movie. I mean, actually, I had the same reaction of, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I'm with you, Robert Patrick. I also am watching this movie.
I hear you, Buck Flowers.
I hear you, T-1000.
Oh man, if only he could turn into liquid metal.
Oh, those were the days, man. What an that movie. Anytime I watch it, that thing still holds up like crazy.
I would like to do a 1 and 2 rewatch at some point. That'd be fun.
So good, and then just stop.
Yeah,
why? They can't get that right. All right. So everybody now we're doing Dog Day Afternoon with vampires as the cops show up. Everybody.
And for a little bit on the inside, Robert Patrick has figured out the vampire thing. Apparently, in this universe, they also don't have reflections, which is a giveaway here.
Yeah.
Robert Patrick's like
he accepts this pretty fast.
Very fast. Goes up to Ray Bob, who's the idiot, and goes, dude, Ray Bob, it's just you and me. The rest are vampires. I know it sounds crazy, but they're vampires.
Yeah.
So they're going to be fighting on the inside while the cops are also trying to take them out from the outside. So that sounds fine. But then, of course, Ray Bob is shown to be also a vampire. It's one of those, what? He got turned.
Mm-hmm.
So now Robert Patrick's the only living one of them. And there's some back and forth. And there's a lot of, I don't even know why Luther's like going, hey, man, it's not so bad with us. We could turn you.
Actually, one of the most insane scenes is where Robert Patrick's on the phone to Bo Hopkins outside, just going, you're not going to make it out of this. And then Jesus there just cuts the phone line and goes, yeah, we're not talking to the cops anymore, man. But he's already a vampire. What's end game for these vampires here? They know the sun is coming up.
Fairly correctly that they will be able to wipe out everybody outside.
Well, then just go do it. What are they waiting for?
That's true.
They know the sun is coming up. They made that expressly clear.
Yes.
Oh, my God. So eventually, we get this whole, what this movie thinks is an exciting scene where the cops fire tear gas in, and then Robert Patrick doesn't know where the vampires are, so they'll come.
Yeah, so the tear gas on the inside
cool in
is
concept.
Yeah, basically all it does is create smoke screen where vampires will zoom out of the smoke at him and still not attack him, they could easily grab him, but they're like doing this like, and he ducks away. I'm ducking away again. You're like, yeah, sorry. This entire like third act is so drawn out, and it's convinced that it's giving you a rockin' action sequence.
It's trying to recreate the feeling of the end of the first movie where you're like, now it's just fucking chaos and vampire killing, and you're just going like, yeah, but you don't have the vision, you don't have the money. It's trying to go like, now we're into overdrive, man.
So now it's just it flips about, as in sometimes Buck is in danger, sometimes he is the hero guy taking him down. He breaks out of the bank and the cops take him in.
By breaks out of the bank, he jumps out the front window of the bank.
Right. And they're like, oh, we got him. And the federales or whoever, they handcuff him and throw him in the back of the cop car. And he's trying to go like, hey, U.S. Marshal guys, you don't know what you're up against. And they're like, hey, you're just a criminal. You just stay right there.
Well, and you got to love when eventually he's like, I got a plan to stop these things, but first you got to take me out of these cuffs. And you're like,
yep.
All of a sudden, he's gone from, in a matter of like 10 minutes, he's gone from accepting they're all vampires to going, I know how to fucking take these things down, man.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I love, and this is so common in these movies, talk about a moratorium. You get characters who have to convince other people that vampires exist. Once they do successfully, whether it's a law enforcement or whatever, they then, and this goes back to Kolchak the Night Stalker, they then somehow are the experts who know how to take them down.
Yes.
But what they end up doing is nothing that you haven't seen in movies.
Yeah.
So, like, why is Buck Flowers, let's say that the marshals are now convinced they're vampires, they would also know crosses, staking. Well, there's nothing that Buck Flowers brings to the game.
No, there's not. Well, because exactly, and there's also nothing that these cops could just drive away, and well, sure. The fucking vampires could just turn into bats and fly away.
Oh, but they're not gonna let that $5 million go to waste.
Then they could just get in a truck and drive away and let them shoot at them because it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, because at a certain point here, now the vampires just come outside with guns and start mowing everyone down.
Yep.
Which, why?
And the movie thinks this is such a fucking awesome shot that it does a pan, because the 4 vampires are standing shoulder to shoulder, and they do a pan, and as they pass each one, each of them pulls out their particular weapon.
Yes.
So pan, pull, pan, pull, pan, pull. Oh. Then they fire. Bang, 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 bang.
Also, I don't know if you caught this. This is not, I don't even think this is really John's gun corner. This is just bad filmmaking. A couple of the guys are just shaking the guns as if they are firing, but they're not shooting anything. There's a couple guys just with, like, because you see muzzle flash coming out of some, but a couple of the guys standing next to him are just going, bam, 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 like just moving the gun like a toy.
I did notice that.
I did catch that on a couple times. I'm going, oh, you, like they're just like, we don't have any more blanks. I don't know what to do. Just act like you're shooting.
They do address this in the movie as them running out of ammo, because then they pan back the opposite direction. I love that the idea is that they all have different weapons, but they started firing pretty much at the same time, and they've all run out of ammo at the exact same time. So they do a reverse pan of them each going like, I'm out, drop the gun. I'm out, drop the gun.
Even though they're all carrying guns that would have radically different capacities.
Exactly. And then they're like, now I guess it's just us as vampires. And then they start doing vampire
shit. Oh, man,
shit.
I guess we got to use our vampire powers now, man. I don't know.
Including the 2 guys, Luther and CW, kicking a car together, kicking one of the cop cars into another car that explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck this movie, man. Anyway, and the one female cop, she gets bitten. Oh, by the way, one of my big pet peeves, and it's not just this movie. The other one did it too. Instant vampirism. You get bitten, you're a vampire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right away.
No time pass.
I mean, the first movie kind of did that, but I feel like there was, like, a couple minutes maybe in the first movie, at least. Like, you still had to, like, lie there and then get up. Here it's just like, boom, oh shit, I'm a vampire.
The lady cop gets bitten. She attacks Robert Patrick Buck Flowers, and then he hoists her up and throws her onto a pole that stakes her. Oh, God damn it. There's a sniper up in a.
Oh, there's a sniper up in I thought I was watching a Fast and Furious movie. There's a sniper in a Corona sign.
I gotta say, did Corona put any money into this? Because that is highly featured.
They had to. You wouldn't do that otherwise. I don't think.
This huge billboard you see 85 times during the end.
They don't have Fast and the Furious yet, so they don't yet have their big franchise they sponsor.
No, they don't. So they're backing this nonsense.
So Luther jumps up there and impales this sniper with his own gun. Which, by the way,
and he does it multiple times.
He does. Which, by the way, they're just stealing that from. I think it's Halloween 5. Michael Myers impales a guy with his own gun in one movie. I think it's the 5th one.
Just means they were taking notes.
Yeah. Who could care is probably what somebody else is answering there. Basically. 4, 5, 6, they're all the same fucking movie at a certain point. It doesn't really matter. I think it's 5 though. But yeah, it didn't make any sense there. It doesn't make any sense here. I don't care how strong you are.
At least
it's not
vampire
sharp.
Does have,
but it's not sharp. It wouldn't. I mean, maybe it could if you'd rammed it hard enough. But it's always a weird effect. It's a cool idea. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyway. I'm just going through. Yeah, close up on fangs. Marshall, of course, we get the thing.
I don't remember how any of them are taken out except for Luther
I wrote a couple down.
Jesus on the horns.
We do have when finally the Marshal's like, okay, I'll uncuff you. And then this is where they make the cross shotguns. And this is where they came so close to legally actionable ripoff of Morricone score.
Sure, of course.
I mean, that is so fucking close to his like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly score.
Of course.
And they're back, and we're getting the standoff where they're backing them up with the cross guns.
Two marshals, and again, this is talk about just offensive because the only people that can take these vampires out, it's not the locals. No, they all got wasted. It just happens to be the out-of-towners, the gringos. So you've got Buck Flowers, the criminal. You've got both of the marshals, including the one that's the son of Parks from the first
McGraw,
one.
yeah.
And they've got their rifles up in a cross. And this was like Buck Flowers' genius thing. They're like, oh, we got him.
And the music's going,
forcing them back.
Wah,
and then Jesus was behind them. Whoops. And Jesus stabs.
They didn't think maybe to have a couple guys turn the other way.
Nope. And then Jesus stabs Parks
Jr. Yeah.
So the only connection to the previous movie is now dead, except for the titty twister.
Yeah.
I
guess because we keep getting prequels with both McGraws, then that keeps, like I said, he's in Kill Bill. Apparently, the McGraw character is also in one of the Machete movies.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, they do that. You know, Tarantino.
I'm sure someone has done a spreadsheet about how they all.
Oh, Planet Terror is also in there too.
Nice.
Yeah. All better movies.
Yep.
I'll take both Machete movies over this. Those are at least, once again, conscious of their campiness.
So now I didn't see this coming. Now it's only two of them left, and they hate each other. The cop and the criminal, and they're the ones fighting off the vampire.
Could you believe it? I can't.
This is when I ran back out into the hall, knocked on doors
You've
again.
got to.
Like,
and they're like, what is it
now?
Yeah, and it's like, it's later in the movie, you guys, but this is so amazing. So yeah,
you guys won't believe what just happened.
He impaled, as we talked about, impales the one in the pipe. And then very Evil Dead looking deaths for these vampires when they like melt into green goo.
I'm all right with that, but the one of the female cop is horrible. It is just like, it's one of those animated one where they tried to awful. Beetlejuice it with like popping cartoon eyes. I'm like, Jesus, this is bad.
It's really bad. It's really bad CG. But there's, and once again, the lingering. It's a fine effect, but everybody has to bubble up and melt.
That's what this was called, right? The original working title is From Dusk Till Dawn 2, The Lingering.
It's just like... We did. By the way, we didn't talk about the poster because it's basically a ripoff. But the
Yep.
poll quote on the poster does describe the movie as having lots of action! Exclamation point.
Well,
I mean, I guess
it does.
Technically, it's not. They don't say good action.
No, that's
has
the
lots
key.
of action.
I was so bored, man. I was bored.
So let's see. Close up on. Yeah, we got the fangs.
I
We
think
got the pipe.
CW. Is he the first one?
Oh. The guy comes at him. Comes at Robert. One of them. I don't even. Who fucking cares? One of the vampires comes at him, and for some reason he's swinging a pipe at him.
Yeah.
And Robert Patrick goes up and blocks it with another pipe, and it forms a cross, and the guy jumps back.
Yep.
What the hell? I've never.
These are extremely cross-sensitive vampires.
I mean, these vampires would be very easy to stop, as you're talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying. Any window they walked by would cause them pain.
Could they just, like, draw a cross on their shirts, and they would be like, back the fuck up, man?
Any lowercase t would fuck them up. They walk by an AT&T building, and they're like, no!
It's really that one really got me though. The incidental, like, oh, he lucked out because it happened to make the cross when they impacted with weapons.
Jesus Christ.
God. Oh yeah, Luther thinks he's gonna get away because he finally is just gonna start the car, but Robert Patrick's in the back seat and stakes him, and so he melts.
Yeah, Luther is now dead. Wait, so is Jesus the last one?
No, he's the one. Isn't he the one?
No, I just remember. I can't remember the sequence, but I
know. Ray Bob is the last one.
Oh,
because
okay.
Jesus falls on he gets knocked.
Yeah, he falls on the horns, right?
Yeah, and then it's just that the eclipse ends and Ray Bob lights up and explodes.
Right, he's outside as the last one when the eclipse finally ends, and he explodes. Sure.
Yeah. And so,
guess what? Now it's just a couple of good old boys,
and they're just yucking it up about, hey man, that was pretty fucking crazy. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
man?
he's like, I still got to take you in. He's like,
oh boy,
well, you can try. I'm just gonna keep on going in the Mako.
By the way, I did have to look because we said a lot of these guys from Texas. Robert Patrick, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia. My cousin lives there.
Oh.
So there you go. Yeah.
Well, I know that he was doing a put-on accent, but it was pretty good. And he captured it decently.
Much like Hollywood just sort of gloms everything together. Robert Patrick is often cast as the Southern guy, whatever part of the South you want him to be from.
Right.
Him and Walton Goggins are out there as Southern actors, openly Southern actors. Goggins is the fucking best. The absolute
Goggins,
one of my absolute favorite actors. So he goes. He lets him go, and of course, you get one last lame jump scare when Robert Patrick opens up the car door, and the skeleton of Luther falls out, and he's just like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, I like that he kicks it to the ground, like "fuck you."
But here's another indication of budget. As he's driving away, we hear sirens in the distance. I didn't see a single cop car or anything. It's just implied that off screen somewhere other cops are. By the way, even more cops are arriving now.
No, that's what I was saying. At the end of the movie, it's like, where are they coming from? Because they have wiped out...
We came from 4 counties over, man!
I have a feeling that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie, and thank God.
That's it, man. Well, not thank God, because next week... it's back to From Dusk Till. Although next week, I'm not gonna say.
I don't know who the director is. Who's the director?
Next week, none of the same people are involved, which is interesting because they come out like almost. PJ Pesky, who.
Do you think they were in production at the same time?
They had to be. They're pretty fucking close. They're like months apart in release. But
do you think Trejo went from one set to the other?
I will say, this guy's got better credits. I'm not saying, and this won't be the last thing we see him do, but he's a TV guy at the very least. Fringe, Supernatural, that kind of stuff. So,
right.
I mean, that's at least more like base level competent, right? And
I enjoyed every episode of Fringe I watched.
Fringe is great, man. I was a huge fan of that show. R.I.P.
I
to
was
Lance
surprised
Reddick,
at how
by
much
the
I
way.
liked that. Oh, Lance Reddick, don't
Huge
get me
R.I.P.
started.
to Lance Reddick, who's gone way too soon. One of my all-time favorites.
Love that guy.
Love him. But this one also has a script by, or at least a story by Robert Rodriguez next week.
All right.
And this next
they
week,
went to him like, could you tell us more about the mythos of the titty twister?
That is exactly what this is.
Sit down. I will.
Next week on the show. By the way, don't watch From Dusk Till Dawn 2. Just get that we do not recommend.
Oh, no, don't.
A complete waste of everyone's time, including those involved, especially those involved. Next week's movie is From Dusk Till Dawn 3: The Hangman's Daughter, and this one takes place in the Old West.
Damn.
Yeah, this is.
I bet there's some sexy Aztec vampire lady.
It is the story of the birth of the vampire princess Santanico Pandemonium.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to get the origin story of Selma Hayek's character.
Who will not be played by Selma Hayek.
Oh, Lord, no.
She was long gone.
She couldn't have said no to this fast enough. I would be shocked if they even asked her. Really. Who is this? Looks like I was gonna say screenplay, story by Robert Rodriguez, screenplay by Alvaro Rodriguez, his cousin. So once again, we're just handing out movie. Boy, what a time!
I made a mistake in what family I was born into because I need to be handed some of these jobs.
I know. Just could you imagine? I mean, man, the kind of clout that Tarantino and Rodriguez had. Just go, can my cousin write a movie? And somebody goes, yeah, sure.
Now, I will say, at least these are jobs being handed. They're suitable. In other words, knockoff direct-to-video sequels.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no real shame that's being, Rodriguez is coming out of this smelling pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not like, how dare you? He's like, come on, did you care? Did you care at all? No, you didn't.
But this one at least has some of the, and something we'll talk, I guess, a little bit next week as well about the TV show that Rodriguez made From Dusk Till Dawn, where he even further dealt. He really had this mapped out, this whole mythos for.
Never seen it
because
it was on that
El Rey, the El Rey network.
El Rey,
yeah,
El Rey.
So that I saw the first.
We don't have to watch it for this.
No.
podcast.
I saw the first season, which was as I talked about when we did the first movie, is basically the first movie stretched into 10 episodes, but with more vampire stuff, more vampire mythology. And Robert Patrick actually plays the Harvey Keitel role in that.
Oh, really?
Which is a better part. I mean,
sure.
It wasn't horrible.
Does it really, like, his part stretch the whole season?
Yeah.
So they just took the plot of the first movie and stretched it for a whole fucking season.
Basically, I think you catch up with the Gecko Brothers a little earlier, and it's more like episode 4.
And are there flashbacks to Hangman's Daughter times?
There certainly are. And also there's like Rich, the Richie character he's not crazy. He's having supernatural. He's got like a psychic connection to the vampires, which is why he's crazy. And so
I don't like that.
No.
That lets that character off too easy.
Oh, yeah, that character he doesn't die either. He survives I can't tell you, but he survives the first season and like becomes one of the vampires and stuff. But the vampires aren't, and Santanica or whatever that is not evil. She's misunderstood. It's not good. It's not good. There's a reason I only watched the first season. So yes, that's next week though. Hangman's Daughter. We're gonna learn a lot more. Who do we got joining us next week? Oh, Michael Parks is back as a new character.
Hey.
We've got Sonia Braga, Orlando Jones, Tamora Morrison, Boba Fett himself is in it.
Well, I will say that is an interesting cast.
Yeah, I mean, these are. I was thinking about this actually, and I think these are the rung above the Full Moon. These are cheap, straight-to-video garbage, but like there are good people involved. They have some resources. It's like this is the next step up of straight-to-video garbage.
I can only pray that this director leaves that motherfucking camera alone I don't want it down people's throats.
Well, like I said,
I don't want it under their armpits.
The thing,
I don't want them swinging from ceiling fans.
Him being primarily like a network TV director makes me hope that we get like bland but acceptable visuals.
Bland but acceptable will be very welcome after this nonsense.
But all of this, we're just waiting to get to our finale this season, which is The Mummy, and that will be coming the week after. So we have to get through one more of these before we can get to The Mummy.
All right.
And wrap up
the
90s.
I look forward to that.
Leave the 90s behind us. My God. All right. But that's going to do it.
It was a long one.
For this week's episode of Campbell and Jones, Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
When it comes to porn, I like porn with a story. The thing is, you need to know who the characters are so they can start to fucking, you got to care about who they are when they start to fucking.